Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today we are going to unlock one of the most powerful tools in a bond trader's toolkit. It is a mechanism that allows investors to perform a kind of financial alchemy, turning lead into gold, or more accurately, turning a fixed-rate bond into a floating-rate note. We're talking about asset swaps. By the end of this session, you will understand why hedge funds and banks use them, and you'll be able to walk through the cash flows of a real-world deal. Let's dive in. The tailored suit analogy. First, let's strip away the jargon. What exactly is an asset swap? Imagine you want to buy a suit. You go to a department store, and you see a suit on the rack. It's made of high-quality material. Let's call this material credit quality, but the fit is wrong. It's a fixed fit, but you want something flexible that moves with you. You have two choices. You don't buy the suit. You buy the suit, and then you immediately take it to a tailor to alter it. In finance, an asset swap is that trip to the tailor. Investors often find a bond issue by a company, let's say Apple or Toyota, that they really like. They trust the company will pay them back. However, the bond pays a fixed coupon, for example, 5% per year. But the investor doesn't want a fixed rate. They want a floating rate that adjusts with the market because they think interest rates are going up. So, the investor buys the bond, which is the suit, and enters into an interest rate swap, the tailor, to change the cash flows from fixed to floating. In short, an asset swap is a combination of buying a cash bond and entering into an interest rate swap to alter the cash flow profile of that bond. How it works? Let's look at the mechanics. An asset swap package consists of two distinct components effectively bundled together. The cash asset, the investor buys the actual bond from the market. The swap, the investor enters an interest rate swap with a bank, the swap counterparty. Here is the flow of money. Visualizing this is crucial. Step 1. The investor receives the fixed coupon from the bond issuer. Step 2. The investor pays that same fixed coupon to the swap bank. Step 3. The swap bank pays the investor a floating rate plus or minus a spread. Do you see what happened? The fixed coupon passes through the investor. It comes in from the bond and goes out to the bank. The investor is left only with a floating rate. They have created a synthetic floating rate note. Example 1. The vanilla asset swap. Let's move to a concrete example. This is the best way to learn. The scenario: imagine you are a portfolio manager. You see a bond issued by Tesla. Bond, Tesla 5-year bond. Coupon, 6% fixed, which will get paid annually. Price, trading at par, $100. Your goal: you want exposure to Tesla's credit, but you don't want fixed rate risk. You want a return based on SOFR, which is the secured overnight financing rate. The execution: you buy the bond, and you call up your bank to do a par asset swap. The cash flows. Inflow: every year, Tesla pays you 6%. Outflow: you pay the swap bank that same 6%. Inflow: the swap bank pays you SOFR plus 1.5%. Wait, where did that 1.5% come from? This is the most important number in the lecture. This is called the asset swap spread, ASW. The bank looks at the Tesla bond and says, okay, this bond yields 6%. The current market swap rate for 5 years is only 4.5%. There is a difference of 1.5%. Instead of the bank keeping that difference, they pay it to you. So, your net return is SOFR plus 150 basis points. You have effectively transformed a fixed 6% Tesla bond into a floating Tesla bond paying SOFR plus 1.5%. If interest rates in the economy skyrocket to 10%, your coupon goes up. If you had kept the fixed bond, you would be losing money in real terms. Why do it? The arbitrage. Now, a smart student might ask, why didn't you just buy a floating rate note issued by Tesla in the first place? That is a great question. The answer is availability and price. Sometimes, companies simply don't issue floating rate bonds. They prefer issuing fixed rate debt to lock in their costs. If you want a Tesla floater, it might not exist. You have to manufacture it yourself using an asset swap. But more importantly, it's about arbitrage. Sometimes the synthetic bond is cheaper than the real bond. Let's say Tesla actually does have a floating rate note trading in the market, paying SOFR plus 1.3%. But If you buy the fixed bond and swap it yourself, you get SOFR plus 1.5%. You get an extra 0.2%, which is 20 basis points, yield for the exact same credit risk. This discrepancy is essentially why hedge funds love asset swaps. They hunt for these pricing inefficiencies between the cash bond market and the swap market. Example 2, the cross-currency asset swap. Let's level up. Things get really interesting when we cross borders. The scenario: you're an American investor managing a US dollar fund. You see a bond issued by Volkswagen. The bond, it is denominated in euros. The yield, it pays 4% in euros. You love Volkswagen's credit, but you cannot hold euros. You need dollars, and you certainly don't want to worry about the euro crashing against the dollar. The execution: you enter a cross-currency asset swap. Buy the bond. You buy the VW bond using euros, which you borrow or convert. The swap: you give the bank the 4% euro coupon you receive from VW. The bank gives you US dollar SOFR plus spread. The result: you now hold a German bond, but all your cash flows are in US dollars. You have stripped away the currency risk and the interest rate risk. You are left with pure credit risk on Volkswagen. This allows global investors to shop the entire world for the best deals, not just their home country. If a Japanese bond pays better than a US bond, after swapping it back to dollars, the investor will buy the Japanese bond. Understanding the risks. Before we conclude, we must talk about risk. An asset swap is not a risk-free trade. There are two main risks you need to be aware of. 1. Default risk on the issuer. If Tesla or Volkswagen goes bankrupt, they stop paying the coupon. However, this is critical. Your swap contract with the bank usually continues. You still have to pay the fixed rate to the bank. This can be a nightmare scenario. You aren't receiving the coupon from the bond, but you still owe the bank. In practice, there are perfect asset swaps, where the swap breaks if the bond defaults, but these are more expensive. 2. Counterparty risk on the bank. What if the bank you did the swap with goes bust? You still have the bond, but your hedge is gone. You revert to holding a fixed-rate bond, which might not be what you wanted. Conclusion. So let's wrap this up. An asset swap is a tool of transformation. It bridges the gap between what the bond market offers and what an investor actually needs. It turns fixed into floating. It turns euros into dollars. It allows investors to extract value, arbitrage, when the cash bond market and the swap market are out of sync. The next time you look at a bond yield, don't just look at the fixed number. Ask yourself, what is the asset swap spread? Because that is the number that tells you the true value of that credit in the floating rate world. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next video.